And they can't trade it.
You mean sit down so I can stay right back? Okay, making sure.
All right, if everyone would please stand, we'll get started this afternoon. Before we begin our meeting, I'm going to have Norris Frank lead us in a word of prayer, and Jace Alexander is going to lead us in the pledge, and the flag is to my left.
Let us pray. Our most gracious, loving Heavenly Father, we just thank you for the opportunity to come together as men and women and discuss the business of our school, dear Heavenly Father. And I just pray that we will always have you in mind when we're making decisions that we have to make. Dear Heavenly Father, we pray for our country and our leaders, and we pray for the ones that are less fortunate, especially this time of the year, that some people are hungry. We just, dear Heavenly Father, I ask you to help us to open our hearts and our pocketbooks too, and to try to feed the hungry. Be with us in this meeting, that everything that we do and say will be to honor and glorify you, and all these things we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Be seated. This time I'll ask Director Kilser to please call the roll.
Shane Connor.
Here.
Ben Couples.
Here.
Brandy Cherry.
Here.
Becky Hutchinson.
Here.
Norris Frank.
Here.
Kim Scott.
Here.
Jace Alexander. Here. All present.
All right, there is a quorum present, so we'll proceed with the meeting and officially call it to order. And our first item tonight is a recommendation, as you look over the board agenda, to accept that board agenda as presented.
I make a motion to accept the board agenda.
Second.
All right, made and seconded. Any discussion about the agenda tonight? Okay, if there is none, all those in favor of approving, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the agenda is set. We're going to begin tonight with our delegations. State Representative Kurt Haston is here from our district. He serves Chester, Decatur, Perry, parts of Hardin, and Henderson County. And have Mr. Kilser give him a proper introduction.
Well,
all right.
I think you've done really well. This is our representative that represents us not only in our state house, but also represents education committees. So he's chair of the K-12. I don't know if they're still called the K-12 committee, but he's been involved, and he's going to bring to us again the agenda, or their General Assembly starts January of 2026. So this is lead up with what he is working on and supports for his bills.
I appreciate it. I appreciate the adjustment on the schedule tonight. Middle school basketball can be it's a tough task to sometimes make it to all these games. I missed my daughter's last game for our basketball practice, so I appreciate y'all letting me have a chance to get to her game tonight. She takes that pretty seriously when I don't show up. I don't know if this is an official stat. It should be middle school girls basketball, but I think she's leading the team in forced jump balls. I don't know if that's a stat, but man, there's a lot of jump balls in girls basketball. So make sure I get these the correct way here. So I'm going to go back. Okay, so this is the first one here. This wasn't my slide presentation, but I sent this ahead because it was one of the more interesting conversations that we had in our innovation summer committee. This, it's a lot of times you hear a bill gets sent to summer study, and it's really like it's not really a real thing. Sometimes it's just like that's a kind way of killing the bill. There's some summer studies that become really beneficial. This one we've had 3 different innovation meetings this summer, going into the fall, and now we have one more, so it's going into the winter. But it's led to some really deep conversations and probably some approaches that, frankly, if we hadn't had this, it would be something like a lot of this stuff would be another 2 years out or a year out from the conversation. It's really advanced it to where I think that we can get to some places on some stuff. I'll get to this in a second, but a couple of things that have been discussed and that's been on the table, I think, for this next session, and we can go back on this a little bit later on, but I just want to run down a few things. Hours and days flexibility for school districts to be able to not have a days-based calendar, but an hours-based calendar. That's something that's really been of high interest in East Tennessee with some of the tourism that they have out there, being able to have some flexibility with being able to have some of their teenage workers be able to work on Fridays and be able to design schedules. Some of the conversations that revolved around that was that it made a lot more sense for the high school level than the lower grade levels. I will preface this by saying that the scheduling thing will not be something that comes in like, boom, that we're doing this next year or we're doing this in 2 years. It will be a pilot program of anything, and it will be just done at the high school level. But the flexibility that they're talking about having is giving districts the ability to, perhaps go to a 4-day schedule at the high school level, period. Open that up for some CTE stuff on Fridays or some dual enrollment stuff on Fridays or Mondays. We always think it's going to be Fridays. But one of the things that came up is that it would probably be more advantageous to do it on Monday, since you have a lot of your sporting events taking place on Fridays, especially with football. And so it actually, it was talked about it probably be more at the front end of the week. But some of the things that came up was just that, wouldn't be able to necessarily have to do it the entire year consistently. It would just be like every now and then, if you wanted to, everybody has like a fall festival, a harvest festival. I know y'all have, some things here that fit that, but you could, you could design your calendar to accommodate that. Like, hey, well, this week that we're having this, we're going to be going to school from 7 to 4:30 or something. So that's kind of the discussion that's been there on that. Achievement flexibility, which I'll use this in a second to kind of to go over that. Something else that's been coming up is we're coming up on the Pearson contracts coming up on TCAP. One of the things that we're looking at is, and I know everything comes down to validity and everything. We're trying to get a little bit better, do a better job of getting the department and getting the test results out quicker. That is a huge priority of the legislature this next session, is trying to get those scores out, trying to get sample questions out there a lot more often. And also, I think another thing that's come out that I like, that I'm a proponent for, is I think that the ELA portion of the TCAP can be designed in a much better way, especially with the reading portion. Maybe smaller doses of reading, and then being able to test off the speed. So finding that sweet zone of being able to find out what the kid can do, but not lull them to sleep or to the point where they just don't care by the time they get to it or can't remember. And so I think I think we go a little bit too far on that, and I think that we can correct that. So we're working on that as well. Let's see, something else here. The high school level, with the EOC testing, trying to design the test to fit better inside the block scheduling. I think that's one of it's kind of the round peg square hole thing that's always been a frustration of mine, is that can we not design something that fits better, that we don't have to blow up our entire school schedules a lot of times and try to redo the lunch schedule and everything, try to blend it better into the high school schedule. That's been a discussion. One that's getting some traction and probably one that's being discussed a lot now. The speaker brought this up to me. I met at his office, I guess, about 3 or 4 months ago to discuss, an idea he had about an associate's degree pathway to teaching. I think that there's some merit to that. I think it's going to be something that's going to be really discussed this legislative session about putting in a 2-year program at some of our colleges, trying to just cast a bigger net for talent. I think is one of the big things. And I know, you get this discussion about are they qualified versus this, and I understand that. But I also know that we're creating a lot of side entry points and waivers and professional permits, trying to create ways to get teachers in the classroom. And which I've been for a lot of that, because I think it's helpful. But at the same time, I think that it would also be helpful if you had a really concentrated 2-year program at some of our colleges that got them prepared. It was focused strictly on education. I think that I mean, 4-year degree, I got a 4-year degree, but then it had nothing to do with education. I took an online master's course and I was in the classroom. I would have been better prepared if I'd gone through a 2-year program that was concentrated on getting prepared to teach. So there's an argument on both sides of that, I understand, but I think that that's going to be a discussion that's going to be had as well this year. There'll probably be legislation on the table for that. Okay, so like I said, this wasn't my presentation, but it was one that we had some counselors present to us that I thought was interesting about a discussion we've had. And give you a little bit of background on this is, it's been an ongoing discussion about high school testing and the focus on where the focus should be. EOC, which is inter-course testing, the TCAP at the high school is required in the state of Tennessee, as well as taking the ACT. My contention over the years has been the federal government does not require us to have a state test. The ACT or SAT in some states can fulfill that requirement, but we do offer and we do have and require the EOC. And my thing is that I've talked to a lot of counselors about this over the years and everything, and talked to colleges and Ayers Foundation people. They've never, to this day, I've never heard of anybody coming to them from a college and saying, "Hey, I really need your high school students' EOC scores," but they do want that ACT score. Okay, and we put a higher priority on that, and so I pivoted, and this presentation was a big part of the new approach we're trying to take a look at, because we were swinging there for a little while, like, hey, let's just focus on ACT and getting them prepared for the ACT. And since we're not federally required to do the EOC, let's move away from that and just focus on ACT. Well, this is something that one of the counselors, a couple of counselors brought to us, an assistant director and a counselor brought to us. Current AF letter grade achievement makes up 50% of it, and 100% of achievement comes from the EOC scores at the high school level. Okay. College career readiness is at 10%, and you do get industry certification, dual credit. I think work keys is maybe a part of that as well now. I think they have it in there in ACT. But correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I think I'm right. This is basically becomes kind of a checkbox. It's not really, it doesn't really capture if your high school has an incredible career technical education program and they are scoring through the roof on ACT work keys. It doesn't really get captured as part of your letter grade. It becomes kind of a checkbox. ACT, same way. You could have incredible ACT scores. All right, you could have parents that are looking at like, hey, it's really important to me as a parent. I'm really focused on, I need my student to do really well on the ACT. And you look at that letter grade, and that letter grade does not reflect that. You cannot look at the letter grade and see that. Okay, and so the idea that they brought was to be able to put in that achievement. Achievement is currently restricted to primarily freshman and sophomore testing. Where was it? Okay. Allow ACT work key scores, and this one we can get back to, but the main premise of this was allowing on the achievement the ACT scores and EOC scores to just be on level footing. Not to get rid of EOC scores. If your school district does great on EOC and that's what they want to point to for the part of the achievement, great. But say you had a rough year at EOCs, but your ACT scores were awesome, and you can still reflect that in your achievement to the public and in that letter grade that, hey, we can lean on this as part of achievement. So that's the pivot that we're looking at. I would personally, and this will be a bigger reach and a bigger swing than I think that maybe the Senate is ready to do. I would also love to have a college and career readiness test like ACT work keys also in level footing of that. And the reason being is that, and I'll say all this, like, this approach does not mean that the student would still be taking the EOCs, and all the students will be still taking the ACT. But if a student does take the ACT work keys, and we've got some pretty good data that shows the comps on, like, if a student's a platinum then that's the equivalent of somewhere in the neighborhood. ACT got this for me. You know, that's the equivalent of being in that range of, say, like 26 to 30. And if it was gold, it would be the equivalent of being like a 22 to a 24. That's not exact. There's some comps out there. And my thinking is this. We all know this. We have students that are focused on career technical education. They know that they've got to go take the ACT, and they go in there and they'll Christmas tree that thing. All right? They know that it doesn't matter to them. And what that does is just, you know, it brings everybody else's average down. It brings it. And so my thought was, if they do great on the ACT work keys, and it's better than the score on the ACT, and it's better than their EOC, then that student should be captured. We have, especially in our rural areas, we have some really great CTE programs that just aren't, you know, it's just not transparent to parents and the public that success is there. And it's just to put those students on level footing and put their success on level footing, I think would be a big step. And it kind of goes along with our committee named this summer and winter, the Innovation Committee, just thinking a little bit outside the box there. But I know I kind of buzzed through quite a bit there. You know, don't know if I skipped anything that I meant to get into. If there was something that we talked about previously that you wanted me to jump into, I'll try. But any comments or questions, I can't guarantee I'll have a great answer, but I'll try. But that's kind of some highlights of things that I think are going to be hot topics of discussion this year. And I think that you know, we're definitely going to be looking for input from stakeholders such as yourself as we make these decisions going into the last part of the 114th General Assembly.
Coach, do you have any bills that didn't get through this first half that you're really going to be working on related to education?
Yeah, there's one that's been a passion project of mine. Trying to get a little bit more help on the benefits percentage from the state on teachers' insurance. I think that you know, it's strange. In my district, I've got 5 different school districts, and I don't think any of them are the same on the percentages there of what, you know, Perry County is at 55-45, so we're at the kind of the bottom of the barrel there. Hardin County is at 80-20. Y'all might be 80-20 as well.
Pretty close.
Y'all are pretty close. Y'all might be the same. And what the problem with that is that it's kind of the disparity. It's kind of the hidden benefit. The benefits there is kind of the hidden salary that pulls a lot of good teachers away from areas that can't really afford it because of tax differences. And so and I guess kind of what we're trying to do is trying to get some of our rural areas a little bit more on a level playing field as far as seeing their success by capturing CTE students better. Also, you kind of see a pattern here too. The associate's degree, casting a wider net for our rural areas and being able to bring teachers in and talent in and cultivate them, get students more interested in being able to go right into teaching out of high school or going into that field, that educational field. You know, there's a little bit of a pattern there, and of course with, you know, our area, like Hickman County has a better benefits percentage. They're like 60-40, so they recruit our teachers because of that pay difference. And then Williamson County, of course, is 80-20, if not a little bit better than that. So they come down and they get some of Hickman County's best teachers, and they go out. And so it's just kind of this little bit of a brain drain because of that benefits difference that you see. And if we can get that to where it's a little bit more consistent, you know, I think that we can keep some of our good teachers that are getting recruited away a little bit in our poor areas, our rural areas. So that's one. I'm trying to think of anything else that I have that's coming back up. I think that I've got 3 or 4 bills I'm working on that are kind of half-baked ideas. They're still in the oven, so we'll see if I get the right ingredients going forward. But been carrying a lot of stuff for hospitals lately, trying to get, you know, we got Perry County reopened, and we're close to getting Decatur County, so that's kind of taken over the last few years. But now that we're getting there on that, I'll have a little bit more bill space. I will say this, if nobody else has any questions or comments, don't hesitate to reach out to my office for not just education stuff, and even if you've got somebody that's asking you that's not a constituent, they're somewhere else, reach out to us if it's benefits questions, or if you're having a hard time getting we're dealing now with trying to get somebody back their voting rights on the technicality of legal stuff. I mean, we deal with a lot of different things, and it gets frustrating sometimes when you guys call and you're trying to get an answer to the State Department, and you just get passed around, and that's the best thing about my job is that people pick up the phone and they get back to us pretty quick. So if you do have an issue, it's probably the thing that my assistant is best at, Holly Webb. She knows who to call and what buttons to push, and gets us in the right contact with the right people. So don't hesitate to reach out to me if I can help y'all out in any ways. Anything else?
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thanks, Coach. Be safe.
Oh, thank you. We'll go take a look at about 25 jump balls.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
All right, as we move forward tonight, the next item that we need to bring up is our consent agenda. You have that in your board packet. And we need a motion to approve the consent agenda for tonight.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, motion is made and seconded. There is no discussion on the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, it is approved. Next is our spotlight and celebration. Of course, we're being hosted by Chester County High School tonight, and they will be presenting that. So, Mr. Murray, Coach.
Thank you, guys, for allowing us this opportunity. Give me just a second for me to get to the right slide. So we have many good clubs and organizations. We spotlighted a few of them over the years. One of our newer ones is hospitality and tourism. It's Abby McChristian's in charge of that. So she's had her kids put together a little video she's going to share with you on some of the things and all the stuff that she has going. So I'll let Ms. Abby keep it plain.
Yeah, I'll just say a few things.
Okay.
I'm not going to talk for 20 minutes or anything, but I just wanted to say that we are really excited about the hospitality program. The biggest piece, and you're going to see some of it in the video, is the campus store that we started last year. The kids are really excited about it. We've been working really hard on it. We finally have a permanent location in S1. So the video is going to show some snips of that, everything that we've been doing the last 3 to 4 weeks. We do a ton of events outside of the school. I know that most of you guys know that. But things have finally calmed down. We're able to pour back into the high school year. And we're in the midst of, actually, we've got 3 days left of a school-wide initiative that we're working on, which is 2 weeks of positivity. It ties in some of our competencies from TPAC. So I'm going to show a little clip of that.
This is a place where I don't feel.
I'm so excited for what's to come for the hospitality program, and I'm even more excited for all the opportunities that my students will have on campus through Wingstop.
What do you hope the 2-week positivity will bring to our school community?
I hope that this project brings a sense of unity and belonging to our school, so that no one ever feels alone.
I hope it gives students a better image of school, because, kids think, oh, I hate school, blah, blah, but like, maybe it's like, get them excited to go to school.
I hope that the 2 weeks of positivity will bring a kinder school with more smiling faces in the hallways.
I hope it brings us closer together as a community and we have a positive outlook of everything.
I hope it will bring everybody together and show that just because everybody's different doesn't mean we can't for all as one. I hope that the 2-week positivity will bring hope, peace, and endurance, and hope that this will also better our community and our school for future generations to come.
What I hope for the 2-week positivity is that it will bring our students love and confidence through any circumstance.
What does a positive school look like to you?
A positive school is a community that's going to help each other through hard times.
Not just a positive environment with like students, but like with teachers too. So like teachers and students.
To me, I like to see people laughing and smiling in the hallways, not arguing.
A positive school looks like where everybody feels welcome and safe in their environment around them.
Where everybody feels respected and comfortable enough being themselves. When I look around school, I hope to see students that build each other up rather than tear them down.
A positive school to me where the students learn responsibility and accountability and learn to be role models for other students. Something that I always try to remember and something that I always try to bring with me to work every day is that at the end of the day, I am playing a part in raising all of these humans. They spend 5 days a week with me, and that's a lot of time. And so if they take anything away from them, from my class, I want it to be that everyone around them matters and their community matters, and they should always try to fill those cups up as well. I just wanted to add, because I forgot to say it at the beginning, but I want to give a huge shout out to Jace and Lily Slope. She couldn't be here tonight, but obviously Jace is here, and they made all of our ideas come to life for this video, and everything that you saw was planned and executed by my students. I was just kind of here to say yes or no and order all the supplies, but they were really excited about it. And so I'm just really thankful that we're able to do stuff like that. So, thank you.
Very.
Any feedback from you guys?
Well, one thing I want to add before, Norris, I'm sorry, I interrupted your question.
No. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to add, and I include this in the board agenda, but for the people here that don't know, our high school is doing a great job with college and career readiness. And feedback that I got from Angela earlier when we were going through the appeals process, one state accountability measure for our high school is college and career readiness reporting. This is from Angela, reporting that has been recently received from her. The current number, final numbers of state accountability should be for rated graduates at 98.92%. Our college and career ready graduates at 100%, and the TISA graduate, which is our funding group, at 93.96. So again, when you compare those numbers versus other districts around us and even across the state, Chester County stands out for their work at getting students ready for their college and career. I mean, it's as Coach was saying, it's putting rubber to the road here with the work that our kids are doing, our students are doing. So hats off for the work that you guys do and the leadership that you have.
Very good. Doris, you have a question? Oh, you didn't? I thought you did. Anybody else feedback? That was awesome, though. Great video.
Very good. Very good.
Did you edit that video,
enjoyed it.
James? I love it. I'm big on video. That was awesome.
Yes,
Yeah, that
I
was
liked
good.
They did all the hard work, so,
Yeah.
again, thanks.
Good. It may be a future job for you. That's a good.
How many students are in your hospitality?
Total?
Yes,
Got 65.
65.
Wow.
Doing any work-based learning with that outside of yours?
We are doing a few, but the main piece, and again, I think this will really help close the gap, is not everybody has the opportunity to get their car and, drive to a job. So I'm really glad that they're able to do a work-based learning experience within the school as well.
Very good. Very good.
Thank you all. Next is public comment on actionable items. Anything on there? None? Okay. Nobody has signed up to comment on the items of business tonight, but we have a few that we need to address, beginning with a carryover from last month. As you may remember as a board, we were addressed to ask about looking at the dress code. It was a recommendation from a presentation we received. And since then, the junior high and the high school have gotten together based on some of the suggestions from Kayla and others who prepared that presentation last month to see how we could tweak the dress code to fit the request that was made. And you have in your packet the results of a combination of those administrators getting together. And I'll have you maybe share a little more about that.
Well, and again, I know that two of our administrators at the junior high are at a conference right now in Middle Tennessee. So they're unable to join in, but I received feedback from Mr. McPeak, feedback from Mr. Murley, feedback from Ms. Halton, plus feedback from the junior high administration. Each one offered their reflection about things that should change or needs to change. And then I asked them to combine that into one and make sure that the other school, since it's only going to impact the 6th grade through 12th grade, that both were on the same page. And what you have including your board agenda is what I received from them. So, of course, again, we got two of the 5 administrators here. So, any questions, you can take it right to the source this afternoon.
Would you happen to have maybe just a general overview of what may change, just so the public would know, and based on too what was asked of us to look at? Because I know you did address those things, which I like, but maybe kind of address what they asked and then how you guys responded to that.
Well, we took, of course, I know last month you had somebody come before you. We've communicated with not a whole bunch of our stakeholders because it kind of happened pretty quick, but we talked to some of our staff, some students, just we'll pick their brains on what they thought the dress code would need to look like. Our motto when we went in it was keep it simple. Don't want a whole lot in there that can be confusing. So the simpler it is, the easier it is to comply with. That's kind of what we went with. So that's where we come up. We the 3 of us at the high school got on a Google Meet with the 2 administrators from the junior high. We all kind of collaborated and said, took each kind of point, and then what you have in front of you is what we came up with at the end.
Okay. And just to share specifically, if you remember last month, the request was about the yoga pants and leggings. I'll read aloud the adjustment that was made. If approved, yoga pants and leggings would be permissible under a top that is of sufficient length to fully cover the hips and buttocks area in both the front and back. So that would be an adjustment. But I would have the board, if you have any other questions about clarifications, if you want to ask those or present those at this time.
Well, I think we assume that if it doesn't specifically state it, that it's not allowed, then it's allowed. Is that correct?
Okay.
And the 2 things that came to my mind that's not, and Jace mentioned those as well, or he mentioned one of them, is sweatpants and basketball shorts. I mean, which I'm not saying that I necessarily have a problem, but we might need to go with the shirt below
Well, you got
the same as the yoga pants.
678 on the short.
Right.
Which will cover the leg. Our thought was, if you're gonna allow yoga pants for girls, you're gonna have a hard time explaining to a young man why they can't wear jogging pants or shorts.
I agree with that. It just wasn't it wasn't specifically in here. So are you saying that, do we need to add that so that the shirt covers, or is that gonna matter? Like it does with the yoga pants? No,
Like
let me
sweatpants.
find it and I will read.
If the girls wear yoga pants, they gotta wear a top that covers their hip area. If a guy's allowed to wear jogging pants, does he have to wear a shirt that covers himself? The same.
I wouldn't think so. I wouldn't see the reason for that, personally.
I guess our reason was sweatpants are not as revealing as the yoga pants.
Yeah.
They aren't.
We have a dress down day, like we can do that as a fundraiser now, and we allow jogging pants, and we've never asked them to wear something that's covered, and we've never had a problem. We do it almost every Friday as a fundraiser for different clubs and organizations. Kids can pay to dress down on Fridays, and the vast majority of our kids wear jogging pants, and we've never had a problem with it.
I got a question. If the board approves this, are y'all ready to take action when we get back, say after Thanksgiving?
Well,
or what were you thinking as far as the implementation?
As far as implementation, I think that's a pretty quick turnaround. I know from a parent, I know we've had parents that went out and spent a lot of money for clothes that are dress code approved now. I would hate to say that that's all for naught. That's a decision you guys can make.
What do you recommend? What do you recommend?
Whatever you guys think, but I think that's a pretty quick turnaround.
So what do you recommend? Like semester change or next year? What's the? Yeah, I'm just asking.
I don't. I would say at a semester change or at the end of the school year.
I just
not
include that in
recommend
motion.
doing it in the middle of the semester.
Okay.
I would personally probably say next school year, but that's just my thought. But we can do whatever you guys decide.
I do think it would be hard. I agree with after Christmas break, because I do believe it would be difficult for us to know that the board has passed it. And we'll have students that will question, and parents that would, well, it's passed, why can't we go ahead and do it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I agree after the break, Christmas break, if possible.
Yeah. And again, regardless, they can still wear what they purchased. I mean, obviously, I get what you're saying. They did make that investment, but again, I totally have a heart for those who say they had issues financially. So I appreciate you guys toning this to meet the needs of those families who had some issues finding the proper things. One clarification, and again, I know you can't list everything that is or is not allowable, but it is a significant change. So I just, on record, to note, this would allow blue jeans on a daily basis, correct? Okay. Right. And that helps with that financial situation too, because they already have that. Okay. Any other questions?
Sweatpants aren't listed on here either, are they?
So that means they'd be permissible.
They'd be permissible.
If it's not listed,
It is permissible.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
that's to us, that's the easier way to go about it, because I'm not a fashion person, but I just know since we've done our last dress code, there's been a lot of new styles.
Yes.
So we would constantly have to be updated if we start listing.
Yeah.
I got you. This is just.
So pretty much you list what is not allowed because
It's easier.
because if you give that inch, it's going to be taken. So yeah. Any other questions?
So dress code tops are remaining the same.
Well, you see under shirt, sweatshirt, sweaters.
There's no change.
For logo, size of logos and that,
Yeah, no, it would change as well.
Or solid colors.
or solid color, yes. Like camouflage is one of our things our kids love wearing. That would be okay. This one's not, you don't have to have a solid color.
Flannel is a big
Flannel.
thing that it looks it looks good, but under our current dress code, it's not a solid color. We have an issue with flannel a lot.
Basically, it appears in just a general sentence, it pretty much opens up to dress in a way you choose as long as it's not obscene or revealing.
Correct.
And so that opens
That was
up,
our goal.
that opens up to go to the closet and wear what you have so you don't have to spend a fortune to meet the code. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
That was our goal.
Right. And now the question would be what, if there's any reservations on that from the board?
I understand what you're saying. If it's not listed, it's okay to wear. Will the students be aware of that?
Well, if it gets passed, we will have I'm sure we'll have a time where we present it to them and explain it to them. Yes, sir.
Well, yeah, and this would go, this is capable of going to the handbook. I mean, I
Right.
know the hard copies already made won't be reflected, but the electronic version will be.
I understand that, but if it's not listed, then it's okay to wear, then sometimes the student might not say, well, I don't know, but it sounds like it will be okay. If we pass this, I had rather it start after Christmas.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, that's me. That's my opinion.
It's going to be hard to pass and then say, well, wait 8 months or whatever. But a semester would give some time. How does it help you guys as far as enforcement? Because I know that may be a part of your day that.
I think it would ease
Exactly.
the enforcement personally.
Right.
Our teachers, they're teaching and they don't want to have to be dress code police during the time. I think this would ease the time. To me, if it's out of dress code, if you're not following that dress code, it's going to be obvious.
Yeah, true. That's
And
true.
this will be look, we're helping you, we helped you out. The least you can do is follow what we've got, and that's going to be an easy conversation. So if you can't follow this, then we're going to need you.
You're looking to break a rule. Yeah,
Right.
right. Yeah.
Well, I'll make a motion that we approve this to
Okay.
go into effect second semester.
Second semester, okay. Second, Norris, okay.
Yes.
Student feedback. We have you here. I mean, this is the time for discussion before we vote. What is your feeling on this, Jay?
Well, I mean, I'm all for the freedom of dress, and all the administrators know I enjoy the occasional sweatpants. I honestly, with the guidelines that they put in here, I really can't think of anything that kids knowingly would just wear out of pocket and not be insanely obvious. Also, I do agree it needs to be started after Christmas break, because also during Christmas, parents are going to be buying new clothes for the second semester, like warmer clothes, pants, all that stuff. So if they have this new guideline to go off of, then they have cheaper clothes that they can get, or they can just have them wear the clothes they already have in the closet.
Any other discussion or questions? Well, I know you guys came up with it, so it's not may not be a silly question, but you have no reservations on this, because you guys have to live with it every day, and I realize that, so you're good with
And this mimics, y'all had included, y'all reviewed some other counties'
Yeah,
dress codes.
I've taken multiple other directors and / high school administrators.
Right.
And got some feedback from them, and this kind of mimics about 3 or 4 different districts that border us.
Perfect. This is want you to be comfortable with it, so, okay. Okay. Well, the motion's made and seconded. If there's no other discussion, all those in favor of approving it as presented, this would be for grades 6 through 12, and to go into effect after the Christmas holiday. All those in favor of that, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, it is approved. All right. Very good. And thank you for your work on that. Appreciate that. Next on the agenda is a recommendation to approve a revision to the board policy. This is just a small technicality, but needs to be addressed in our policy based on the financial reports and records section. That's 2.701, if you want to discuss that a little.
Yeah, as I included in your board agenda, in the conversations that Stacy Keene was having with our auditors, she was reviewing that section 2 of our policy manual and came across this one specifically, which includes that there are reporting that based on the policy should be coming to the board monthly. Stacy admitted, and this whole time that she's been working with us, it's always been just like it is for this consent agenda, quarterly reports. That's acceptable to do the quarterly reports, and that's what we do also with the county commission. So it was just to clean up the language to match what our practices are, so the policy would match it. So as you know, looking at the draft compared to the actual 2.701, the only thing that changed is removing the word monthly and replacing it with quarterly. So that's my recommendation.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve this adjustment?
I'll make a motion to approve the adjustment.
Second.
All right, motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, it is approved. Those are the only couple items of business of board action tonight, but we also give an opportunity for any updates. Have Mr. Pilser share any that he'd like to address, and then the board can ask any questions they might have.
Well, and again, just going down from the very first section, I know that, I think it was last month, Ben, that you had mentioned about the restating again about the food service, making sure that a larger portion of that goes to higher end food items for appeal to the students to definitely have more meal consumption. Well, as you see in the breakdown, again, this was something that we were introduced to last year, and it's repeated this year, that they are only allowed to carry a fund balance that covers up to 3 months of expenses. So the breakdown of the 4 bulleted sections reflects what they're going to be able to spend that extra funding on. And you see that the first line is improving the food and meal consumption by purchasing those higher end items for the year at $87,000. So the larger chunk of that resource is going to the very thing that the board last school year advised the food service to do. And, you know, as I was sharing with Shane earlier today, when you read that section below those bulleted items where, as Stephanie reflects, it's as she describes, it's funny watching these young students try stuff they normally wouldn't. And it's even more pleasing, like she says, when they ask, when are we going to have this again? So it's, you know, again, Stephanie Lawler has gone to visit other school districts, some of the ones referenced last year, seen how they make the arrangements. Actually, after the meeting, we can take a look at how the high school arrangement is for how the food is being prepared and distributed to the students. You can see that. But there's been significant effort to improve the food items, and as she says, and of course you can see with the meals participated in, you can see an increase in some of those areas already. The high school does like second or late breakfast still, and that's been a big, that's been a successful meal count for them. As we walk up the hall, if you participate with me when we go visit the Ag and the Auto Center, you'll see that the hallways have been repainted. If you've been in the hallways in the last few years, you've seen that two-tone style that now has been restored to something closer to where it began with years ago. So it looks really fresh and clean and looks really good. The only other thing that I was going to speak about was the bonus payments. Since some in the House would love to hear this, and some staff are here. But overall, well, Thursday on the 20th is when the bonus payments are going to go out for all of our staff. This includes both our educators as well as our support staff roles. The educators, as it reads in your board agenda, have equity pay, have career ladder for the few that are still receiving career ladder, and then the larger bonus package is the performance bonus that affects all the schools. As it reflects there, over $357,000 only for performance bonus is going to be paid out. So that's a significant increase. It's about a 27% increase from what pay was last year. So we're making moves in the right direction because as our teachers, our educators and leaders are getting more paid, that means that there are students performing better on the state testing. So we're having success being realized by our students, and we're able to say thank you to our teachers and educators and leaders to ensure that that happens. Our support staff receive a one-time bonus amount of $750 in addition to those who have had multiple years with us. We have a longevity bonus structure also that can top out after 15 years at $750 also. So some of our staff who are 15 years or more service are going to see a bonus package of $1,500. But again, going back to the performance bonus section, you see the breakdown based on the schools. On the average district-wide, on average, 80% of our teachers, roughly 80%, are going to receive a bonus, and the average amount is about $2,100. So we're very appreciative. And as I told Shane earlier today, we try to stay competitive with our salary base every year, looking at those areas around us, districts, to make sure that we can compete and attract new talent when we need it. But this is something that is unique in Chester County. Friends of mine in other districts are not offering bonus structures like what we're talking about. When you take it all in consideration, with all the bonuses, both for the support staff as well as the educators, it's over $800,000 we're paying out in bonuses Thursday. So we should have some happy campers ready for Christmas shopping.
Ready to buy some sweatpants and
That's right. Camo. Camo flannel.
Camo everything.
And that goes along with keeping them here.
Right. Again, this is, again, for some of us who was involved with the TIF district, that was one of the initiatives, strategies that was used to attract and retain. Because to get this bonus, again, this is last spring's effort, well, you have to return for the 25-26 year. Retirees do get the bonus because we do appreciate those who retire with us. But for somebody that exits us to go to another district, they forfeit their bonus opportunity.
Well, they deserve every penny of it.
Definitely.
Any other questions that need to be brought up tonight, or anything else needs to come before the board?
So the PLC.
Yes, sir.
Is working.
It is a work in progress, yes. Well, and I say that because some schools all of our schools are at different stages in the process. But what it is we are making efforts at a district, and all of our schools are participating to improve our students' learning by enhancing our professional learning. Our teachers, working collectively as teams, identify what's essential for the students to learn, measure it by developing their own common formative assessments, which in itself is a great professional growth plan because it helps them talk about what do we consider essential and what are the best strategies to teach it. And then once those assessments are offered, then they reflect upon the results, and definitely the ones who have the better results, the other members of the team are saying, what did you do to get it there? And they also address what type of interventions are needed, because we're talking about in growing all students' learning, not just those who are capable right out of the gate or those who have maybe better success in the classroom than others. We're talking about how can we keep those students who are still making progress, coming to school, but keeping them engaged and active in the learning curve. And then also for the members like young Jace on the other end who needs challenges when maybe the regular setting is not offering the full challenge. So it's a step in progress. Nobody says that the PLCs with all the districts that I've talked with, that it's a culmination. There's no finish line. It is a progress to move toward that because you want to develop the culture that as people like some of us who retire out and the new crop comes in, they're influenced by the culture of what happens at the school to engage all students in high levels of learning.
So we're seeing progress.
Yes.
Okay. Good.
And we're going to see, again, as we've already seen, like what I mentioned with the performance bonus, but I think we're going to see where areas where we've been less effective, we're going to see better grade growth this year. And we're about a month away from making some public announcements about our school district's performance. And there's some great things that we're going to talk about then, but you'll have to wait.
Until after Christmas.
Or somewhere around there. Maybe at the next meeting.
Anything else? All right, if not, the next meeting will be in December 16th. Maybe we'll get that for a Christmas present.
Maybe so.
Senator Wiley will be with us at that meeting as well, and it will be held at the Chester County Junior High, back to our start time of 5 o'clock. If there's nothing else to come before the board, the meeting is adjourned.